All right, thanks for sticking with me, guys. We're moving on here to the regular prelims here on UFC 275. Andre Fialho against Jake Mathews. This is a really interesting fight, really exciting one for me. I have Andre Fialho winning this fight by knockout late in the first or possibly the second round. Reason being is because that's been his recipe the last two fights. Andre got some nice KO wins here in the first round against Baeza and also Van Camp. Amazing fights, especially after that loss against Michel Pereira. I know he started some beef with Masvidal right now, but that was an interesting fight. Go back and watch that if you want to see how Andre handles an elusive fighter like Michel. He's built like a tank. This guy's durable. I think he's going to be able just to walk through Jake Mathews. I'm not batting the kid down. He's been in there longer than Andre, but it's just he's riding momentum. I've put stock in Jake Mathews before, and he's let me down a few times. And his last notable finish win, it was back in June 23rd of 2018. I mean, we're approaching 5 years since his actual finish. Since that, he's been winning by decision, and he's have 2 submission losses, and most recently against Brady. So Andre coming off 2 KO wins here. Jake Mathews coming off a recent loss against Brady. We got Andre Fialho at a -135 favorite here against +115 underdog for Jake Mathews. I thought the betting odds would be a little bit more spread out than that, but they're a little close to each other, so not too far of a gap, but who knows? We might see closer to the fight. That might change. If you're wondering where I got the odds, this is on the UFC website. It's not on any other third party. So interesting fight. Again, I got Andre winning this fight. He's a real exciting fighter, but Jake Mathews has been in there since he was a teenager, so don't count him out. Remember, there's some undercards that do perform under pressure, and this could be that night for Jake Mathews. 9 times out of 10, I have Andre winning this fight. Next up on the prelims, we got Mahashate against Steve Garcia. And another interesting one again. Mahashate, I saw his fight. I think it was Contender Series. The guy's super durable. Now that only lasts so long. I mean, he's still young. He's in his early 20s. But Steve Garcia, he's an interesting fighter too as well, because I saw a short notice fight between him and Luis Pena. Feel bad for that dude right now. He's got some personal problems going on, but besides that fact, Steve Garcia was able to handle himself pretty well with the submission game of Pena on short notice, by the way. And then, of course, after that, he has a TKO win against Ontiveros. But then again, Ontiveros, I feel bad for that guy too, because he's been thrown at some warriors lately, like Kevin Holland and also, of course, Steve Garcia. So Ontiveros has back-to-back KO losses, so you don't want to ride too high on that for Steve Garcia. Nonetheless, I mean, it's still a win for him. But Mahashate he's built very durable. I think switching levels could be something that Steve Garcia uses to win here. As far as durability and him being young, yeah, Mahashate has that advantage. Steve Garcia's been in there a little bit longer, and Mahashate is making his debut. So could the experience of Steve Garcia cast a shadow over Mahashate? I think that's possible. I think the stand-up game, I think both these guys have an opportunity to knock each other out. I think this is going to be a good one in the beginning. Hopefully it's not too much of a fill-out process and it's not too stagnant. I think it's going to be fireworks for these guys. I've been back and forth on this, Mahashate or Steve Garcia, back and forth, and I just can't judge too much because Ontiveros, I mean, he's not really a fighter that you want to say like, okay, now he's ready for the next big thing, but nonetheless, he's going to be fighting a durable guy, so I feel like Steve Garcia does have the advantage in the first and second round. If this does go to the late second or third round, I think Mahashate is going to have the advantage because of his durability, if it holds up. I think Steve needs to come up with a more elusive plan and not go all out in a win, because this guy can take it. If you've seen his previous fights, I think it was a Contender Series. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but this guy could take a beating. Granted, the guy was shorter than him. But then remember, he's a shorter fighter than him, less of a weight cut, so more energy. And Mahashate is a large guy; he's got a big frame. So I'm interested to see how these guys face off on each other on the weigh-ins. My guess right now, if I do an update after the weigh-ins, but my guess right now is going to be, my bet so far is going to be Steve Garcia. Obviously, I want my fighters to get a KO win, for fantasy points and all that. So I have Steve Garcia winning by first and second round. But, if I end up losing, it's going to be this Mahashate probably in the later rounds, late second, third round. All right, next up, we got Brendan Allen against Jacob Malkoun. We got all-in Brendan Allen against Mamba Jacob Malkoun. I like the nicknames here, but let's see here. Yeah, clash of styles. I mean, Jacob Malkoun, is no surprise he's going to be going for takedowns here all day, every day. Just to go over Jacob's last fights, he does have a loss to Phil Haas, but damn, who doesn't have a loss to Phil Haas? That dude's like a freaking NFL running back / linebacker. The guy's a freight train, man. The guy's just crazy power. So I think he could beat both Brendan Allen and Jacob Malkoun, but that's another conversation we can have another day. That's his only loss in the UFC so far, having 3 fights in the UFC, as far as what I got here on the stats. We also have some notable wins here against Razak Al-Hassan and then also Dobson as well. Decision wins, but, if you look at the stats here, he's going for significant takedowns. So, again, there's no surprise that Jacob's going to be going for a lot of takedowns here. Brendan Allen does have a good advantage on the submission game as well. I just think Jacobs is a little bit more better. However, he's more dependent on that. Brendan does have the stand-up skill advantage, I do believe. Is he going to be dependent on it? I don't really know. As the fight goes on here, I feel like this could be more of a tiring game for Brendan Allen because he's got to defend a lot of those takedowns. I think Brendan Allen's got to do a good job of takedown defense and using that to his advantage, maybe using some knees as he tries to go for a single, and hopefully he can catch him on a switch knee or a nice straight knee. I could see him doing significant damage to the head here with his knees and then finishing him off after that if he can catch him in time. Just a good clash of styles. I want to say Brendan Allen. I'm not too confident. I got like 70% confidence on that. I also like Jacob Malkoun as an ace in the hole. Just picking an undercard here. As far as the spread goes between these guys, we got Brendan Allen at a minus 280 favorite, and then we got Jacob Malkoun at a plus 225. So yeah, that's a lot more spread out than I thought Andre Fiallo and Jake Mathews, which I thought that would be the numbers on that, but looks like Brendan Allen and Jacob Malkoun are going to carry that over on their end here. So minus 280 for Brendan Allen, plus 225 for Jacob Malkoun, and I got Brendan Allen winning this here. I think he just sees this coming. I think he's got enough experience now. I think he's garnered just enough just to be aware of the takedowns. Whether he's formulated a good plan to defend that when the time comes, we'll see. You'll see me repeating this. I'm always interested to see at the weigh-ins just how they look, how the training is. There's always a little telltale on the weigh-in. So if you're a betting person and you got stock on these guys here, watch the weigh-ins. It's just a little bit of sneak peek of that fighter's advantage. Whether they have it or not against the other fighter. You can always there's always a little bit. A little bit. Carry it with a grain of salt though. So if you have my pick here, I have Brendan Allen winning here, 75% confidence on that. Jacob Malkoun, I like him I feel like I could use him on a different spread as an underdog here. If Jacob Malkoun wins, I feel like because Brendan is aware of the submission, I could see if Jacob Malkoun wins, it's going to be by decision. So if there are those specific bets out there for a decision win, I think if Jacob Malkoun does win, it will be by decision, where Brendan Allen could pull that off. I feel like it's 50-50 decision for Brendan Allen, also possible TKO if he can just, maybe land a couple of those knees on those takedowns when Malkoun tries to go for him. And if he can defend him off nice, that could be an opportunistic moment for Brendan Allen and then finish him off soon after that. So Brendan Allen by TKO, possibly in the second round after he starts feeling the defensive takedowns on his side, and then he can use it to his advantage. Last up on the prelims here, we have Singwon Choi coming in at a minus 235 favorite against Josh Culibao at a plus 190 underdog. I think this is a really interesting fight. I think Josh Culibao does have a chance with his right hand and footwork to stun Choi here, but I think he might be a little bit faster than Culibao. This is an interesting one. I do know that Josh Culibao does have a good submission defense or takedown defense more so. Seung-Woo Choi's last fight against Caceres, he rocked Caceres. I mean, he got a knockdown against him, but I mean, him being a veteran that he is, he was able to find a submission against Choi, where Josh Culibao, I think he has more resistance against the takedowns and submissions. I don't think Choi's going to be going for that. I think it's going to be a stand-up battle between both guys. Culibao likes to keep this on the stand-up. I think he likes to use his hands. But he does have takedowns too. His last fight against Norden Beckham, that was an interesting fight because he was just going for takedowns nonstop against Culibao, and he was defending most of them, like 90, maybe 95% of the time here. And when he got taken down to the ground, he got right back up. Choi here, I mean, he's susceptible to takedowns if Culibao really wants to utilize that. However, I think the main theme for both guys here is to keep this on the stand-up. If that happens, I think Choi might have an advantage to rock Culibao. I haven't seen Culibao rocked too crazy. I did see a fight between him and Charles Jourdain, and that was Jordan, sorry. And that was a pretty good fight. Both guys had their moments. He knocked down Jourdain, and then Jourdain had a submission game against Culibao later on in the round, which Culibao was able to recover from. And that fight was ultimately a draw. And then he won his next fight against Norden Beckham. Seung-Woo Choi had 3 fights. It was on a 3-fight win streak until he made Caceres. He could have been on a 4-fight win streak, but again, that submission game, he's susceptible to it. So will Culibao use it this time? I think he will use it if he has to, if the stand-up game does not work. If the stand-up game stays where it's at, I think Choi does have an advantage because of his speed. Culibao does need to use his footwork and maybe use some level changing to kind of throw Choi off a little bit. But I see Choi pulling off this win if it's a stand-up game. So I could be eating those words. I could see Culibao maybe coming off with a submission win. I haven't seen his submission, attempts. I do know that he does like to go for takedowns when he wants to use it, but I've seen both guys fight here, and both guys are more favorable in the stand-up game. So I got Choi winning this here, possibly by decision or later knockout, maybe in the later second or third round. So guys, I'm going to move on to the regular main card here. I'll catch you guys in the next video here. And also, if you guys stick with me, I'll talk about why I haven't posted in a while. I've had some personal problems in my life here, losing a good friend of mine, my personal best friend, and losing another family member too. It's been rough. So if you'd like to know more about that, just stick around a little bit after I break down the whole main card and this whole UFC event. Thanks for sticking with me, guys, and go ahead and like the video too as well. It supports me. It helps me do this. I would love to do this full time, and liking the video, subscribing to it really does help me out.